Hi everybody, welcome to A Case of the Jills. Today is not my typical video topic, that is for sure. But because I made a blundering mistake early on in my journey, this video is about me apologizing for my mistake. This is pretty important because when we're recovering from amenorrhea or otherwise doing less exercise and changing our diets, we're kind of struggling. We're in a place that feels very confusing for us. We feel vulnerable, we feel afraid, we are feeling very judgmental of ourselves. A lot of us are struggling for ways to feel positive or more positive about the experience. We know we have to do this, but it feels very much out of our comfort zone. So it's not odd to think that we would look outward to find some way to sort of frame the changes that are happening. At the beginning of this journey, I was feeling pretty lost, and what I thought I needed was something positive to kind of help keep me going. So I am a consumer of social media, just like so many of us are. I listen to podcasts and I'm on Instagram all the time, and like I read BuzzFeed and all this stuff. In the beginning, I was listening to a bunch of podcasts that were coming from health coaches and registered dietitians, health bloggers. These women were talking about body positivity, and they were using hashtags like F your beauty standards and BOPO, body positivity. They were talking about embracing your shape no matter what your shape was. And as a very, frightened, is it terrible for me to say shallow here? I'm gonna say shallow because I'm talking about myself, so I can say whatever I want. Yeah, I was pretty shallow at that time, and I was having a hard time embracing the changes that my body was going through. I was really afraid to get bigger. I was afraid to lose performance in my sport. You've heard all this before. So I was listening to these podcasts, and I was following certain bloggers and Instagrammers that were talking about this body positivity movement because it felt like, as I said before, a great way to frame what I was going through and something that would maybe carry me through this transitional moment. I saw, kind of what we all see. I saw these white, relatively thin, or what society would consider slim women posting selfies. They were in bikinis or their underwear, and they were hunched over in such a way that you could see their belly rolls or their cellulite. And wow, this was a revelation to me. Like, this is so cool. These women are so happy and proud of their bodies. They are not worried about dieting. They were all talking about loving yourself and accepting yourself. And, that was, for me at the time, that was intoxicating. That was just what I was missing. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It was something that really resonated with me. I admired those women. And at the time, I also needed maybe visual reminders that women's bodies are not meant to be minuscule. So this was good for me. Essentially, I was trying to feel better about my own experience, which I think a lot of us are. The fact is that I was wrong about this. I was not wrong about feeling positive about my body. What I was wrong about was the term body positivity and what it actually means. So in my Instagram posts around that time, I started using some of those hashtags. I started using hashtags of body positivity and embrace the squish and all this stuff because I was like feeling it, I was like vibing on it. I wanted to be like those girls. I really felt nothing but admiration for what I was hearing and seeing. And then, a little while ago, I started to get the message that this whole body positivity thing, there was just more to it than what I thought. The tipping point for me came listening to Laura Thomas, PhD's podcast, which I will link below. All of her guests are incredibly amazing women that are super intelligent. She herself is super intelligent. And I'm starting to listen to this podcast, and I'm listening to all these women talk about body positivity and what the movement actually means. These women are activists and advocates for that movement, and I'm trying to make a comparison between what these women are talking about and doing and living and what I'm doing and who I am as a person, and those two things could not be more dissimilar. So the latest podcast that Laura Thomas does with Kelsey Miller is just amazing. Kelsey Miller, if you don't know, is a columnist with Refinery29. She's a writer. She has a book out that's called Big Girl. Listening to this podcast was the turning point for me, and I really felt compelled to dig deeper to realize and understand where I was wrong with using those hashtags and where I was wrong with thinking about the body positivity movement. I am totally not qualified to give a detailed history of the body positivity movement. I will leave some links below if you're interested in sort of understanding where this all came about. But body positivity came kind of with fat acceptance as a movement, and it was designed to create a culture of acceptance around otherwise not represented or marginalized body types. We're talking about the body types that are not readily accepted in our society. Right here, this is an issue way beyond anything that I could even begin to have an intelligent opinion about. So I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to tell you what it is not. So contrary to what I thought and what I was led to believe by the people that I was following at the time, and honestly, I think it's that they're unintentionally misinformed. This movement is not about Ashley Graham and Marilyn Monroe and Iskra Lawrence, and it's not about Demi Lovato. Those are conventionally, unbelievably gorgeous and talented white women. Body positivity movement was not created for them. It was created for the non-binary, agender. It includes trans people, differently abled people, different races, colors, identifications. I am also going to link to a list of people that actually do embody this movement. The list is so long I didn't want to call out just a few, so you'll see below that I've linked a couple of websites that list some of the body positivity true advocates and activists that if we're really interested in understanding this movement 100%, we should be looking at those people. So I'm listening to that podcast with Kelsey Miller, and I'm feeling like I'm exactly what they're describing. You know, the person with thin privilege, because I'm a white, relatively thin person, who is using the hashtag of body positivity to describe my, 5, 10, 15 pound weight gain. It's not that. Melissa Fabello is a writer over at Everyday Feminism, and I'd like to read to you one of the quotes that you can find in one of the articles that I'll link below. She says that by demanding inclusion from a movement for marginalized people when you're a member of the privileged group, you're asserting your social power over the marginalized. So basically when a thin person or otherwise, fit person uses those hashtags, you're basically usurping power from the movement. Someone's gonna follow you, they're looking at you thinking that you're representative of all these marginalized bodies. Well, guess what? You're not. It also changes the message from the original intention. Susanna Weiss, another writer for Everyday Feminist, says that you're not going to find body positivity people, the true body positivity people, posting pictures of low carb and low fat and diet foods on their Instagram account. She also says that it's not people who say love your body while you're still working to change it. She says that if someone is promoting body positivity while also selling a fitness plan, nope. Again, according to her, we're diverting the message away from its original intention. One more quote from Susanna Weiss here. She says the image people have now consists of hot, skinny women posing in bad lighting to show barely existent cellulite and giving advice on how to get rid of it. Basically, that stuff that we think we know about body positivity could not be more antithetical to the actual movement. So yes, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for having used those hashtags. I am embarrassed for misappropriating the concept behind a movement that I did not understand. I'm embarrassed for not having researched and done my due diligence to know what the hell I was talking about before I started doing that. I listened to another podcast that talked about how to manage this coming from a place of thin privilege. The answer is basically just to do what I'm doing, which is to acknowledge my thin privilege and let people know that I'm sorry I made a mistake. I'm not looking to be an activist. I am not a perfect person. I think you guys know me by now. You know that I like to sort of stay in my lane. I don't like to talk about things that are above my pay grade or outside of the area, the very narrow area of focus that I have. Instead, I'm just gonna do what I did, which is apologize. I'm gonna use this as a learning experience and remember that a lot of times it's better to ask questions than to just go ahead and jump into stuff without doing more research. I watched a YouTube video from Kenzie Brenna talking about this, and she said that sometimes we need to know when to shut up and listen, and sometimes we need to know when to talk. So consider this my shut up and listen. Oh, and by the way, I am 100% certain that the body positivity movement does not really need my apology. I am a peanut. No one really cares what I think, but I'm just sharing my experience with you because you guys know I'm here to tell you where I make mistakes, and I'm here to help us grow and learn together. I'm not sure what you guys think of this information that I shared with you today. I'm not sure if it changes anything for you, if it helped you think of things in a different way. Does it change how you view some of those posts? Do you follow those people? I would really love your feedback on this. I'm actually super curious of what you think, and I would love it if you have an opinion on this, or if you've experienced this yourself, or this kind of like awakening thing happened to you about the body positivity movement and maybe a mistake that you had made. Would you please post that below? I would love to hear from you. This was another tough one today. When they're tough, they take a lot out of me. I did a lot of research for this. I didn't want to mess it up. These are very stressful to film when I'm worried about saying everything so perfectly. A couple of other things I wanted to tell you. So I am, at this point, overwhelmed with the amount of emails that I'm getting from all of you. I love you so much. I'm so happy that you send me emails and share your stories with me. Unfortunately, right now, I am unable to address all of them. I am totally buried in email. If you send me an email now, you'll get a little response back that says that I'm super late on everything, but I'm working really hard. So right now I'm redesigning the website. There's a ton of amazing stuff that is coming soon with that. You can still expect at least 2 videos a week. I am studying for an exam that will allow me to better support you in all of your endeavors. And finally, I'm in the final stages of my ebook of frequently asked questions that will be available via the website. So I've been a busy girl, but I hope you understand that I'm so committed to being here for you, but I don't have time for the emails right now. That will change in the future. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here each and every week and watching these videos. More good things coming soon. All those resources will be below, and please leave a comment. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to A Case of the Jills. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.